to make sure you all are comfortable, though, that she has been exposed to this
I don't believe in
pathogen.
magic.
Okay. She can stand on the other side of the room
Yeah.
and yell at us, but she's
Okay.
can come. But I want to make sure you're all comfortable, considering she has been exposed to whatever this disease is.
Understood.
I'm aware of what's been going on with her. Snoopy's been keeping me in the loop.
Okay. All right. I'll give her a shout. Give me 1 minute.
I don't see it.
Is there a possibility also, Murray, can we reach out to Dark? I would love for a Marshal to be part of this conversation.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Let me send him an email.
You want Snoopy here too, or no?
No.
Who's the head? Okay. Who's the lead on this investigation? Who's ever spearheading it should be the one talking on us.
It's Dark.
Yeah.
It's Dark. Then yeah, it should be Dark.
Are you available?
So also, I know I asked Murray this earlier. Were we able to co-sign Mumbles onto the SEMA Act?
Yeah.
Did that go through perfectly? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Speaking of, the line in the SEMA Act needs a bit of alteration because it currently reads mayors of Los Santos and Blaine County and law enforcement, where the original writing was the mayor and it's a respective law enforcement agency. Oh shit. Hey Doc, can you come to the meeting room on the top floor of the courthouse?
Sure, what's going on?
Best to tell you in person.
Okay, all right, I'll be there soon.
All right, beautiful.
Bye-bye.
See you in a bit. Bye. Just in case it gets interpreted that separately myself or separately Mumbles or separately any law enforcement agents can set it up.
Wait, what was the line again?
The original line was the mayor of Los Santos County and law enforcement are able to designate the SEMA camp, but now it says mayor and law enforcement. So now it infers that instead of the mayor and the respective law enforcement, it's any of the three independent entities can do it.
It's separated. I see. With the verbiage, it makes it so that even the law enforcement has the authority to set up these camps. Okay, I totally understand. In my mind, I mean, listen, we just need Perry here with us being the legislative authorities. Considering it's a typo, I think we're all good to just say if that needs to be changed for purely verbiage reasons, we could do that right now.
Yep, absolutely. The second thing is that there is a new Marshal, and actually I can wait till Dark is here. But I'm not sure what his name is. Let me know that he set up SEMA camps up at the military base, and that's actually why I asked yesterday, wait, is there a state of emergency? Because these SEMA camps can only be put up in the case of emergency. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't be pre-prepared, but I want to make an underlining point here. It's not, I make this point not to say, hey, let's not be prepared, but rather if we go around saying we got SEMA camps, the people in the city are very aware. They'll be like, oh, fuck, there's a state of emergency. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Barrett came up with a new title for them.
Okay, yeah, but it was petty and superficial. So I don't I more understand Nino's point and intention here.
Yes. Medical treatment is important, but just like in the United States, this is a joke. This is a pun off of FEMA camps, right? And I don't know if you guys remember the panic that FEMA camps created 15 years ago.
Well, no, what was Barrett's name for his camp? So, God,
San Andreas Medical Emergency Staging in Isolated Environments for Safety.
Yeah.
Great. It's
okay.
So great. Which inherently still only proves Nino's point that they're going to cause a panic if we're setting up medical camps.
Yeah. Last 24 hours have been... I'm expecting Dark to have a panic attack when we describe what happened the last 24 hours.
Okay. Watson on her way as well.
Beautiful.
Should we tell the people outside to leave first?
Yes. They should probably not be here.
Okay, you tell Perry to not walk in then until...
Yeah, I'll let her know. What the hell? Why does...
Are you guys able to leave the building currently?
All good. Cooter's is
Okay.
opening up.
So ominous.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yep.
PPE.
Yeah, Cooter's is opening up its doors at the Yellow Jack.
They
Oh.
sell sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sell Poonshine as well.
Charming.
Yeah, McNulty said he tried that.
Of course he was.
He is
Fucking
he is
roast
the Walter
beef
Brew, it's kinda
sandwiches.
his job.
Mm-hmm.
You made McNulty the Lord of Brew.
That's right.
Oh my god.
You know, honestly, considering his investigations and the hand he's played with Moonshine, he's
I need to
probably the
get
best
on
suited.
Brian soon, chat.
And he's
Holy
Irish.
fuck.
I'm gonna get up.
Okay, I
and
wasn't gonna say it.
I'm gonna be standing.
but
on
I'm
this
Scottish,
side of
I'm
the
allowed
room for
to.
when Perry
Yeah,
comes in because I don't
fair.
want to get sick with whatever's going on.
She was
Go,
telling me
go,
that
go.
she even spoke with this pestilence guy this morning, and that's how he infected her. She got infected, came in contact. I don't know how
You
we're
can be
supposed to talk
infected over
about
the
this.
phone?
No, they spoke face to face. She met with him.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't. It's not really my place to ask. I was far more just concerned for her well-being and what she needed to operate. I'll leave it to the marshals to ask the questions.
Yeah, everyone's on the way out. Told them they had to leave for safety reasons.
Oh, that's not ominous. Great.
Well, I wasn't going to tell them
Hey.
they had to leave because
Hello,
someone with the
Dark.
plague's walking up
Oh.
the stairs.
What? Yeah. No. Thank you.
What?
When did you lose your hand?
Years ago,
I
apparently.
lost it a long
Oh,
time ago.
Jesus.
Someone melted my prosthetic recently.
Oh.
Poor guy.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the best way to come into this.
Yeah. No ideal.
So
Is everything okay? Everyone kind of,
Well,
at least
I'm
Princess
hoping
was
you
kinda
can,
stressed out.
yeah,
tell
I
us
think
a little bit. We have Watson coming. I'm gonna ask that you probably stay on this side of the room. She'll be standing on the other. So
Alice
can
Watson
you,
or Perry?
Perry, the medical
Yep.
authority?
I can start to open the door for some of this because I think this could probably. I've been trying to reach out to you. I understand, time hasn't connected, but given some of the topics I'm going to bring up, I think it's valuable for the other legislative authority members to also be in on this.
Okay.
So I was provided a document via Barrett, but also part of that, I was kind of let in on some information. Things pertaining to 3 separate incidents. We've got the plague, we got pestilence, and then we got the very hush-hush last page. Yeah. So I have been operating and under the notion that these are things that even I don't want to fully expose to my cabinet, so that number one, it's plausible deniability, right? They know some things, they may hear some things, and all of a sudden they're getting screwed because of knowledge, kidnapped, whatever, right?
Right.
Just basic OPSEC. But simultaneously, under that operational guise, over the last 24 hours, and this is kind of after you go to sleep, right? Hell breaks loose, right? It's mostly around this time. It's where all the shit happens. We've had a series of events, and I want to be very particular here, is that this is not me pointing fingers. It's like a quarter of the city's involved, right?
Sure.
My understanding is that we want to keep this on a hush, right? We haven't really made any sort of public notice about the health concerns that may or may not exist. But despite all that, and I'm just going to iterate over some things, and none of these things are meant to be like, fuck these people, whatever. This is just an enumeration of what seems to be the counter to what I believe our expectations were. And I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There is a active gate leading to the Lighthouse that is being manned by law enforcement officers who have been either preventing or telling people not to cross through. There is CJ, who owns the Lighthouse, who has been suggested that she should probably trespass people from there. And if she does not, that those individuals that decide to go there and then may get something and then might hit somebody or might get reckless endangerment, right? Now, like, and the main problem with that is, well, if people don't know what the hell's going on, then how can they recklessly endanger, right? Because they don't really have any public information. There's only rumors that they're functioning off, no, like, actual official statements. The next is from Wednesday evening to yesterday evening. I understand that there was a lot of things that law enforcement were responding to. And from what I've been hearing from various command members, et cetera, we actually had CMC go into a quote-unquote quarantine. And I bring that to everyone's attention because I'm not sure if everyone at this table is aware of this.
Wait, is this different from the last time we had a conversation? We were thinking about needing to quarantine the hospital, or did it actually happen?
It happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that drew up, like, I heard about this yesterday. Even I'm like, huh? Because there's no state of emergency. We're keeping this on wraps. Who quarantined it? Now, it makes it a little bit worse, and this is kind of where I was going to talk to the SEMA director, is, and once again, not pointing fingers, we had the chief EMS apparently prevent law enforcement from being anywhere near the hospital, stating that it was being quarantined, and it turned into a huge scene in which she got onto Channel 1, the law enforcement, and started demanding to know whose scene it was, and it turned into some shit. And so I'm like trying to process this on a couple of levels. Number one, in the last 2 weeks, verbatim, I have heard the chief of EMS state that she doesn't report to anybody. She's the top of the top, which then opened up me being like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I read the Constitution. SEMA director is oversight, and that drew into question, is there something going on? Are we being gaslit into believing that this mysterious shadow board of directors, whatever the fuck, is in charge of making all the decisions when in reality she is? So I'd like to get some clarity on that, particularly if a circumstance like this happens, like we're sitting in this room, we're like, holy fuck, we need a state of emergency. We need to know who to talk to. Who makes the decision? Who makes the final call when it comes to medical decisions?
Yeah, but that needs to be clarified. I agree.
So,
are you telling me the chief of EMS was the one who issued a quarantine on the hospital?
You're
correct.
Hey, we got Dr. Watson.
And when I started to like,
hey Watson. Okay. Marie, can you unlock the door for Perry?
Yes.
1 second. Just
I will
stay
show
out
you
for a
that
second.
the stuff at the Lighthouse. So the stuff at
And
the
then
that
can you
you're
stay on the other
discussing
side
at the
of the room?
Lighthouse is specifically, we said that we weren't going to escalate to that point. We said that what we were going to do, I think, Murray, again, I've been pretty cooked the past few days, so correct me if I'm wrong, because you were present. You might not have been present at the PD part, though.
I wasn't.
Okay, well, then I won't have anyone to back up my memory. But we kind of decided that what we were going to do with the Lighthouse was pretty much just put signs up, like on the bridge. Yeah. And that was really it. We weren't going to like trespass anybody, no reckless endangerment, nothing like that, and until things escalated, right? So until things turned into more of a serious outbreak, we were just going to be like, okay, let's just put signs up on the bridge to the Lighthouse and like the entrance to the sewers saying, you know, biohazard warning or something similar. Basically just a caution, a good faith caution. So the fact that what you're saying is accurate, and we're at the point of trespassing and a full-on toll bridge, you know, that's not exactly what we discussed.
Yeah, it sort of goes against the premise of like, let's keep this under wraps, and is creating a weird thing. I did speak with so I was informed by CJ, the owner, and I brought in Barrett into the conversation so that he could hear firsthand account on what had transpired. But
yeah, I mean, saying what you're saying about CJ, the one person that was kind of in the meeting that was pushing anything to do with CJ and trespassing, and even at one point suggested encouraging vigilantism by CJ, was Princess Elena. So I think maybe it's worth touching base with her and seeing if she mentioned anything to CJ.
She also was a run it back.
So, yeah, run that one back.
Yeah. So at the meeting, we were discussing, you know, How do we keep people away from the lighthouse? So, like, do we put a state announcement saying, you know, stay away, blah, blah, blah? We thought, no, that'll probably just make more people want to go there. Then, you know, we brought up the idea of putting signs up so for people to stay away. And then Princess brought up, you know, I know someone who could probably, you know, sit on the front porch with a shotgun and shoot anyone that rolls up. And we said, no, that's not happening.
Oh
and she said,
my!
You know, that's in a very, she said that's in a very last resort type deal. And we're like, we understand, but no, not happening. And then that was pretty much it. And then we moved on to other discussions around what to do.
Okay, so it was just a meme.
So
No,
I think she was pretty serious about the suggestion.
It was definitely a suggestion she had.
okay, I'll talk to her about it.
So a little bit of context here. That Princess Elena did join us in the conversation earlier, and I do think some of it is probably half tongue in cheek, but she here with Barrett and CJ, it turned out that she was the one that was heavily implying some of the actions that would transpire there, and she, my understanding, has been actively speaking with Pestilence. So where is the line beginning and where is it ending? That's my understanding.
Or CJ. Sorry, I apologize. I don't...
Elena.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Elena has been speaking with this person who's currently infecting people.
Well, I want to make one thing clear, that I don't think she's the only one, and this is what I'm talking about in the last 24 hours, is I wake up and I get this book and everything's hush-hush, but everyone in the fucking world is apparently investigating this shit. We had, obviously, and I'm not trying to blame Jaina on this, right? We had that state announcement, right? Like, where is that coming from?
We're talking to her about that. Yeah, that's crazy.
We also...
was that stupid little state announcement that was Jaina?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We also have people on Twitter. Like I'm saying, like there's a lot of people involved in this, right? So it's like secret in the morning, and then tsunami happens, and it's like the entire world is an investigator.
So
different law enforcement agencies are looking into it. Some are fighting each other. We have the head of EMS apparently creating quarantines and shit. Like it's cooked, right?
I'm sorry. Wait. What was that last one?
Oh yeah, we got to talk to you, Watson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Nina, do you want to run through the quarantining of the hospital one more time?
Sure.
Just because it seems like you have the best information.
Wednesday evening, when shit was like popping off, right? Into the day afterwards. Now, I'm going to provide some context here. Is that for the past 7 months that I've been in office, I have been the allegation, and I think we haven't had this kind of issue, is that the SEMA director kind of is not like the head of everything, right? But rather they just kind of help the board of directors and yada, yada, yada. Never really dug into it much. But as of recently with this new chief of EMS, whatever, she seems fantastic, whatever. But over the last week or a little more than a week, she has stated on multiple occasions that she is the head of her own department. She doesn't respond to anybody. She has no boss. She operates as she wishes. Now, for me, whatever, right? It's head of EMS, not my problem. Where it became a problem was that Wednesday evening into the day afterwards, she declared that the hospital was in quarantine. Either she self-declared it or she just came up. I don't know where this came from. And she was screaming at law enforcement officers dealing with the active there that they could not go in the hospital, that it's quarantined. And then got onto the radio and started demanding to know whose scene it was. I would recommend speaking with Captain Maxwell, that was dealing with a lot of the plaguey shit show in Wednesday evening, and she could provide a little bit more context. I did talk to the chief about it, and my point was to bring it up with you, as the idea started going through my mind is we've got this crazy plague. Who's the head of medical? And that's kind of where I opened up the Constitution, and the answer is you are, right? And I don't know what the board of directors are. I don't know what the potential internal things are, but as far as the Constitution is, as my reading is that you're the head. and that includes of EMS. And that if we're ever discussing whether things need to, at a state level, need to be quarantined or have to have these discussions, is that falls into your court. And I'd like to, I guess.
My court. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only just heard about that. So this is interesting to me. I knew about the situation that the hospital was put into quarantine and that PD was surrounding the hospital with guns. But that's the only thing I ever heard about it. I never heard about what Vivi did.
Wait,
She's
the
definitely
PD was threatening the hospital with guns?
No, they weren't threatening the hospital. So from what I was told, by the doctors that were on duty that day, they quarantined the 6 individuals who were possibly infected. And PD blocked off all the entrances to CMC, not letting anyone in and or out, basically. And apparently they were surrounding the hospital with guns, and apparently a few people were threatened. Civilians were threatened, and I'm not happy about that side of things. But I know on my side I'm trying to fix it right now, especially the fact that they quarantined the one hospital that has a lot of foot traffic right fucking now as well.
I think, if I may go out on a limb here, we're probably going to be dealing with what out of, I'm so used to the PD, and we live in a city, and please, anyone correct me if I'm wrong. We live in a city, no one wants accountability, doesn't matter who you are, right? Minus a few. So we're probably never going to get the true answer to what happened 2 days ago, but what could be done is clarity as to who is in charge, so that if these sort of decisions are made, that the communication channel leads to the top, right? So
the top, and it's not just one rogue person going at it.
Precisely. So did she or did she not? Who knows? I'm not saying that you shouldn't look into it, but you know, we're probably.
I'm gonna look into it.
You know,
this is the first I heard that. One of my doctors did tell me that she shouted at someone, but that's all I heard about it. that was all I heard. They didn't go any further into detail. So I'll probably look into that even more.
Is it?
Because
do we know if there's like quarantine? I mean, her attitude sounds, questionable. But was the quarantine done in good faith? Like, was there a serious threat to life, and she was trying to save people's lives? It's a question I'm wondering. Don't get me wrong. I think there needs to be a procedure for this. But if there's not one in place, and then she did it with the intention of keeping people alive and protecting people, I think that also needs to be considered. And again, I really don't know what happened.
Well,
the only thing I could think of that she might have been trying to do is if she was trying to keep it quarantined to that section. I don't know where it was.
Yeah,
maybe.
And she was probably angry at PD for basically locking down the entire hospital.
Is that her? But she and please help me understand this, because one of the things that when this allegation was made that it's quarantined, get the fuck out of here type shit, is that when the doctors were asked, they're like, well, we can't do anything because she's the chief. And so it leads me number one, it's EMS. I don't even think they have authority over the hospital.
They do not have authority.
Or the doctors.
Yeah, they do not have authority.
Or the doctors. And why is this being said? And it just creates a bit of extreme confusion, and has me concerned for when, if today we got a plague, who are these shot callers, right? And especially this is, if she's responding with dramatics, and I'm sorry for being harsh, that is not the way that you handle these kind of situations. It only is going to incite more of a panic, and clearly infected some members of PD, where they were even beginning to act rashly because they were taking the situation so seriously. We can see it very quickly. The ball rolls downhill. So we need to have one. I think those of us in this room need to have a bigger conversation about what processes we do go through for quarantining, especially considering our situations and states of emergency, and then two, individually making sure we have handles on our departments so that this does not happen.
That's definitely something I'm gonna do as soon as I get back
to the
hospital, I think.
Hell yeah. I would talk to Maxwell. I also know that there's a lot of shit going on social media. It was It was a clown show. No offense, Mumbles, from what I've been taking in. Like, when I say the entire city wanted to get involved, it really, from what I was up for 16 hours yesterday, and like, it's like the entire city's fucking investigating. They're all having meetings with Pestilence. The motherfuckers going down into the sewers. Like, everyone's the boss of, like, and lead investigator, and some of them aren't even law enforcement. And I'm just like, holy fuck.
And Nino, all of us are main character. I'm sorry. Anyways,
I don't even believe in this shit. Like, I haven't seen anyone cough yet. You know what I mean? I'm hearing about like fucking ghosts and shit. I don't even fucking.
Well, Bobby Charles is the
She's right
No,
there,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm right here.
Sorry, my apologies. You know.
On the topic of, you said everybody's investigating. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to PD thus far, since the meeting we had the other day, the kind of big meeting, everything seems to be going quite well and everyone's working together. So unless there's other parties that I'm unaware of that are investigating and are kind of outside that circle and not communicating, then that's news to me, at least.
Well, maybe even in the vein of saying everyone's investigating, I can very much see where somebody who is part of a criminal organization or affiliated member would see, oh, there is a very violent, pathogen out there that we could potentially weaponize, and they're going to go after it, and hopefully obtain it and use it against whatever gang they're fighting this week.
Yeah. Dark, I think you guys are doing fantastic. Just to be clear, when I said everyone's investigating, I mean like non-law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
Like setting up meetings, trying to figure it out, and I
just want to make sure you haven't heard anything about like
there's
cross-contamination in PD.
I would speak to Erin Carter. I am biased towards her, but my brain is rattled from the 16 hours last night, but it sounded like there was a lot of out-of-band decision-making around this that didn't seem in line with what was presented to me with this book and the sanctity of it and the classified nature of it, and that things were very open, right? But now some of that openness, I think, is also a consequence of, earlier in the morning, things are kind of chilled, and then all of a sudden hell breaks loose, right?
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Which normally is what happens in the afternoons. We all know it.
Yeah.
What I will say is, okay, so this is the matter of the fact that we're dealing with. It's very open. We had a quarantine hospital. We had officers, locking it down. We have people who are telling people not to go to the Lighthouse. We have people running around in hazmat suits and rats infesting the streets. Apologies for the dramatics, but it's kind of what people are saying out there right now, correct? Are we going to start dealing with this in a more open nature? Or are we going to still try and have the guise of a handle on the city and saying that we have it under control?
I think telling people where it's coming from is the worst idea. The existence is probably fine to say, but saying it comes from the lighthouse or it comes from the sewers, that's just going to make more people go there.
If people are actively talking to this pestilence guy, right? Including what seems like members of the government, unauthorized. If we have people in various affiliations going to the sewers, talking to folks, trying to figure all this stuff out.
Right.
I'm floating an idea, is that if this guy is believed to be a source of biological warfare, can we not put a warrant out for it? And
that's what I was going to say. Why is there not a bolo
with this
out
guy,
for
you're going to jail?
This guy,
like
what's his name?
harboring?
Dr. Isaac Smith. Why is there not an attempt to apprehend him? He's obviously a danger to the public.
There's not a KFC in the city where we could find him.
What?
Wait, there's not a KFC?
Yeah, he looks
I thought it was Bailey at first.
Is it because he looks like the Colonel?
He actually does. He actually does look like the Colonel.
God damn. We'll never find him.
I think it's a difficult area to kind of explore when it comes to the bolos and the warrants and things like that. And how do I put this in the best way possible? It's kind of like how the mumbles here may try and evict Norman Bones from the Lighthouse.
I love how
Bones or what you believe about Norman Bones, but
wait, hold on, I'll tell you afterwards.
Very
the princess shit shocked me.
He's a tax-evading squatter is what he is.
Man, damn.
10 years ago.
Exactly, and it's a very similar situation with Dr. Smith. So don't get me wrong, we can go down that road, but I don't know how well it would go.
So when you say, I'm sorry, I'm just confused. This man again is obviously a danger to public safety. We have 4 confirmed LEOs who have been infected, 2 civilians, and now the medical authority. Am I missing something here?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand too.
I'll
I mean, the guy's a ghost. He doesn't have an MDT profile. We don't know where he lives, what he drives.
Wait, we have
There's
photos.
plenty of people who fly in all the time who don't have profiles made.
Right, but how are we going to put a bottle out of someone we can?
Like Nino said, we have a photo. It's in our dossier.
We have.
And also, apparently, half the city knows the man anyways.
Sure, I can float the idea about getting bolos and things out for the guy.
Yeah, it sounded like yesterday people were actively having meetings with him. Now, I will say that I'm being very cautious here. I myself have not, and this is not distrusting anybody here, but like I haven't personally seen the evidence of him being the source, right? I did hear, and I'm not trying to throw this back at you, Perry, or anything. Like, I recognize that there have been meetings and people got sick, right? But there is that part of me is that I don't know if what the connection is, right? Because I haven't heard like he stabbed someone with something. Does he have?
Watson, can you elaborate on this? Like, how was this? How were you how were you contaminated?
I don't know. He came up to the lab, and as he was leaving after the talk we had, which I'm gonna write down everything. He tapped his cane, and then after he left the door, I just had immense pain in my chest.
What is he, Willy Wonka?
I don't know. That's what it seems like.
So then maybe the tapping the cane released some kind of like vial or some shit?
Maybe.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Some gas maybe came from it. Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
It's like the penguin.
Let me put it this way. As of this morning, we have received intelligence. We've got intelligence and evidence that suggests that the night of the 12th of February, the night of the outbreak, the night of the quarantine that you're talking about, where officers got infected.
You can still detain over it, right?
We have received intelligence that Dr. Smith directly, what's the word? Not infested, but I guess that also pretty on the nose with the rats. One of the victims in the sewer with a new strain of this plague, and we did get video evidence of him doing that.
I'm sorry?
What the fuck?
Who would record this?
I'm gonna further, and this stays in this room.
Yeah.
That I was given this evidence by the terrorist organization, the Faceless. Which
okay, so that's the confirmation. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh.
For the
which,
toxins.
given the neurotoxin threat that we received,
well, next time we meet the Faceless, we're gonna ask about this. Wait a minute.
Is what we're looking at here, like
little do they know,
new strain of the plague is this neurotoxin, or whether this is something different. It's still unclear until we get some further kind of confirmation from CMC and the director here.
Which I believe Jackie has more information for me, but I don't know yet.
Okay. So as of this morning, the victim in this case, who had his eyes gouged out and had, from best I can tell, some form of, as is quoted in the research papers that I discovered, quote, angelic and demonic runes carved on his body, and his eyes were gouged out. That victim, Dr. Ryan Keeger, has been, as of this morning, we moved him up to Sandy Medical instead of keeping him in CMC, given he's believed to be patient 0 of this new strain.
This is a doctor, Dr. Keeger?
Dr. Keeger, yeah.
Okay.
He's not one of our medical group doctors.
Didn't he die?
No.
Keegan?
No, okay, I'm
Wasn't he
mixing it with a different.
born-
Dr. Ryan Keeger is an ex-employee of Humane Lab, so I don't believe he would be known to most of you.
Why
Oh.
wasn't he taken to Zancudo?
Perry, if you, I don't, I think
saying,
you had. Your
I didn't know
reasons,
if it had been fully set up and safety precaution wise.
Okay.
From what we've seen with him, if he is patient 0, one small serious move could possibly cause what is possibly not contagious to spread. So we sealed him in one of the rooms up at Sandy and locked it down and put signs around the outside of the building saying that there's construction going on inside, so hopefully no foot traffic goes in there for the time being.
What the fuck? They put him in... Sorry, did I understand it correctly that he's currently being housed in a house in Sandy?
Housed
no,
in
Sandy Medical.
Sandy Hospital.
Oh, Sandy Hospital. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we're at currently. I know the chief, from who I could speak to this morning, the ass chief, Doc Masters, who was present during the meeting the other day and seems to be taking the lead with Aaron from LSPD side of things. All of those guys are aware. Blaine County Sheriff's Office were made aware that it's probably likely not safe for them to be up at the Sheriff's Office either at the moment. So everyone thus far has been made aware.
Is the Polito Hospital locked down? Just out of
I
curiosity.
think so, yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Shit. Okay.
I think all the doors are shut up, yeah. I will say on top of that, the Faces did tweet out this morning as well. Something we're still trying to decipher. It's not like a code or nothing, but
what do they tweet?
so this is an active investigation, basically. It's confirmed the connection between this terrorist organization and Dr. Smith. We do have some PIDs on some individuals that were involved in that video. And so it is an active and ongoing investigation. So if we find out any more, we'll obviously update everybody.
Was that the bail violation you referenced?
Yes. So I need to speak with Danielson about that.
It's very interesting. So we've got, and I'm trying to like make sense of this because I'm coming, without some days of context. I was at dinner with
Oh, of course.
Happy Valentine's.
I left her. I got a card and I left it at the restaurant when I left. So now I got to dump her just in case it gets serious. Because what am I going to say in 2 years? Hey, remember that card you gave me? You kept it, right? But anyways, it's
for the best.
It's probably for the best. It's easier that way.
I'm sorry. Please go.
So there's Faceless, I believe, to be behind. Wait, we can talk about this openly, right? What's in the book? I think so, right?
I think everyone in this room has the
everyone's got clearance.
clearance. Yeah.
There's the neurotoxin shit, right? But then they're somewhat remotely involved with this pestilence guy, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Who's also at the Lighthouse with this Norman Bones like phenomena, right? Like but then the Faceless given you a video effectively exposing pestilence. So are they working together on a potential neurotoxin? Is he a means to an end? But then if he was, then why the fuck would they be exposing him in this tape? So I'm sort of, in my mind, a bit at odds. Like, are they working together or are they actually against each other? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's still unclear a little bit. From the video, Dr. Smith was very aware that he was being filmed.
Okay.
And it definitely seemed like there was an understanding that he was assisting the Faceless. That's what it seemed like anyway.
And this is more of the tape might have been like a scare tactic. Look at what we got.
It's what it seems like, yeah.
Mm.
In
That
fact,
sounds like the faceless.
to be clear, so you don't hear this, if you do hear or see the video from anybody else, at times Dr. Smith seemed to be talking directly to myself. So in case that comes up and you're confused that I didn't mention anything, I figure I'd mention it now.
Why would he do that?
Because he's the one who had me lose took my hand away from me and my lung and my eyeball. But that's a bit extreme. I don't want to go into too many details, but that's what happened 7 years back.
Oh no. May I stipulate, because I don't really, because Norman Bones, I know that it saysn't. I knew Norman 15 years ago. All this hocus pocus about fucking ghosts and fires and fucking. Have we thought about maybe this is just in the same vein of like this plague going around, that this isn't some like shit that this guy unleashed, like toxins under the ground that have made people hallucinate?
Possible, I guess.
A possibility, though. I think with the amount of time that Norman's been around, I'd hope we'd have picked something up on some test or something that would show somebody is under the influence of something, right?
I don't. Yeah, I'm very not keyed in on anything outside of the Halloween stories I've been told. I only know Norman when he was a lawyer many years ago. And now I'm hearing he's like a fucking like ghost or some shit.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of things like that, and depending on how skeptical you are, you might not believe them, which is fair.
Yeah.
I won't go into too many details, but I think if you saw some of the stuff that, some people have seen, you might believe things too.
I'm doing it intentionally, by the way, because I'm way too deep on Brian. So it's easier to play Nino as skeptical about Norman Bones.
Like, from what I've heard from the public over the past couple of days, I mean, just to put it out there, I mean, 15
Nino
minutes
knows
after
all
we broke
about
that meeting up
pestilence
the other
and bones.
day, there was a talk about there was a plague. Someone
that was a good
storyline. Aren't telling us about it. That was 15 minutes after the meeting finished. So word is already out there somehow. I think people are very aware there's something going on. There's a disease, there's a plague, there's something. So it's definitely worth discussing whether or not we, open up a little bit.
I'm going to be honest. I'm in a mindset of that we should, considering the panic that it's been causing. And there's been a lack of response from any form of government. And it's been just entirely, kept quiet, especially if we want to start, trying and seeing if we can apprehend any of these individuals. I mean, I know we've already been trying to apprehend the faceless, but this is obviously getting to a bio weaponry kind of angle. I do think we need to address that there is, potentially a sick. I mean, so what is the confirmed level of individuals who have been infected? Is it the 4 LEOs and the 2 civilians and now Perry? Is that making it 7?
5
LEOs as well.
5 LEOs. I only know of 2 civilians. No, 3 civilians technically, yes. And then myself.
So 9. Is that enough for us to call it a plague, a pandemic, and tell people what exactly?
I think pandemic is a very charged word.
I think I have a solution to announcing this without upsetting too many people. And you're gonna like this. Stimulus checks.
Those are very hard to give out, though, right?
Yes.
Well, hang on. We call them stimulus checks, but we just have them go pick up their pay slip in Polito because nobody ever does that.
Isn't that just gonna deplete the county fund?
We'll be fine.
I got them. I got you like 200,000 yesterday.
Yeah,
I pumped that.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I gave you guys 1.6, and the BCSO basically undone it all.
Yeah.
Look, there's 128 million of state money that is there in case of emergency.
Oh my God!
Back from Pred too, right? My bullshit.
I don't know what's happening on that. I need to talk to Dakota. It's on the docket.
It's been Justice SEMA has picked up. He's looking to see if there's going to be any kind of a contest. That's all I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll refrain from. I think that this decision is best left up to probably like the mayors and the director about whether or not we should have an announcement about the plague, because it's affecting the people and it's medicine related. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna refrain from giving an opinion, and I'll leave it up to you guys.
I'm of the general opinion that we need something out there. If people are actively seeking these things out, people's curiosity isn't gonna stop. But I think guidance as there is a medical threat, what to look out for, what their action should be as a consequence, can likely and who they should contact with the information, even if there's like some form or some anonymous tip line, which was recommended to me actually yesterday by I think Jordan Ackridge, which separately y'all might want to consider getting rid of her. What
is that?
Oh boy. She was, in my opinion, actively feeding Edgar information after okay, so I'll give you the quick TLDR. We had a believed to be explosion when me and Mumbles were speaking in that room over there about a month ago, and she actively was providing this information to Edgar. She approached me yesterday. I've barely spoken to her in months. Under the guise of, hey, I want to like resolve this issue between us. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So she came down, sat next to me, brought up the whole explosion. I exposed her of lying and trying to pull information about the plague and a bunch of things. She was trying to like warm me up to learn things that she should not know about. And I think she was actively giving information to Edgar when he was out on the run. So I don't trust the one bit. And
interesting.
So
we'll look into that.
Fuck, where was I going before I mentioned?
We were talking about whether or not how we're going to address the public. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She did make that. She the hotline actually I think is very reasonable, because there are people. She was one of them, actively seeking out information about these things, and them having a way to provide that information to law enforcement would be good without their names coming out, because I think some people are afraid of the repercussions. Now, obviously, some of that information may be bad, but that's for law enforcement to disseminate, right?
So, Watson, do you think, from what you have seen, from individuals who have come in who have been infected, are we in a place where we need to make the public aware?
Possibly. Even though there's a possibility of there's no contagion. But if people are actively going out to talk to him, there needs to be a warning out. There needs to be one.
Okay. Dark, can we start working on procedures about let's get a hotline put together and avenues of the way people can approach the medical staff if they are infected? I'm sure Watson, if there's somebody from maybe Dr. Legs, can help us figure out the right avenues for that as well, if they do catch this pathogen. And then we will, is there anything you would think to let the public know to as like a preventative measure besides just not seeking this person out? I mean, I don't even think we. How do we say that without saying that?
I think it's going to be the Streisand effect if we tell people not to do stuff.
I think just like oh my God, we all have so much trauma. Like, do we tell people to wear masks? Do we tell people to wear gloves? Do we tell people not to like stand close to each other? Do we tell them, hey, avoid the sewers? oh, hey, I mean, don't go to the Lighthouse.
Well, they should be avoiding the sewers anyway. It's trespass.
It's not.
It's not. That was before the Constitution was remade, Murray.
The felony trespassing says includes but is not limited to, so...
Yeah, but, like...
Bruh.
We've never upheld it until this point. Feels weird.
What?
Has anyone pressed it before?
Wait,
no.
For what?
For
felony trespassing in the sewers.
In the sewers? How is that illegal, though?
That's what I'm saying. We haven't treated it as illegal up until this point. We can't suddenly be like, oh, for your own safety, it's illegal now. That's wrong.
Enters knowingly and or remains unlawfully in or upon secure sections in government property or facilities with the permission or the right to do so.
Sewers aren't necessarily government property.
Yeah.
It's never been outlined that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, maintenance lines?
That is something, so transparently, I know that there's a society down there, you know, of like poor people and whatever. I think we should definitely consider passing something along those lines. But I think this is a broader thing, right? Be it the sewers, be it the Lighthouse. I would not be opposed to certain segments of our county being locked down for safety reasons. And I think maybe that's a better approach to take at this particular juncture.
So we say lockdown, though. Do we mean we have law enforcement blocking off these areas? Or do we just say that we will issue trespassing if people are found there?
Oh, man. This is one of those moments where having Michael here would be good. There's something that I can't think of the word for, which... Fuck. It's not state of emergency, but there must be a mechanism. I know there's a mechanism. I just can't come up with the word right now. It's like... if there's a fire, like the California fires, right? If there's a fire in a certain part of LA, there is some it can be shut down, right? Because
you can evacuate them.
Yeah.
But like, what's the avenue that like allows people to issue evacuation notices?
I think it's a state of emergency, right?
I think it is a state of emergency.
Well, I'm saying
like a lower level. There's like schedules. There's like a levels to the states of emergency.
Yeah, there is levels. Exactly. Well, absolutely. Like at least as a Bostonian, when we even have like very serious storms, there's a state of emergency.
Yeah, it's like a Northeast thing, I think.
Yeah. So I don't. Is that how it is in like other parts of like how is it
in New York? We got a snowstorm. Roads are shut down. It's a state of emergency.
Okay, you're from California, Mumbles? Ish?
Sure.
What do you guys also use state of emergencies? Is this like I'm trying to figure out, like, is this like a everywhere thing or?
Yeah, it's like an everywhere thing.
Oh,
okay. Perfect. What about you, Doc? Like, well, how's the UK deal with?
We don't have emergencies.
Yeah, we don't have them.
No, we just get.
You don't have emergencies?
We don't have state of emergencies.
Must be nice.
Just melt down.
Yeah, we get like red weather warnings, yellow, like that, but
wait, that's it?
State of emergency.
It's no extreme.
Okay. What about like let's say, God forbid, this is the only example. There's an attack. What happens?
Depends on the attack.
They call the United States.
Apparently.
I'm only fucking around. Okay.
You say a good thing that happened to England? I don't know.
Okay, all right. You're
done. Wait for it to blow over.
Yeah.
How very... Okay, whatever. All right, never mind. This is a moot point.
So you should all go to the club in Grape State.
Yep.
Anyway, where were we?
I think entertaining levels to a state of emergency is something most people can comprehend.
Man.
I agree.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, DEFCON levels.
Oh God.
I kind of fuck with that. I'm gonna be honest.
I've already,
what the fuck?
Me and Craig have spoken about writing up some legislation, or not even necessarily legislation, but it would just be procedure about, levels 1 to 5 for how serious the threat to the state is getting.
I'll be honest. I entirely think that should be legislation and something that the two mayors should most definitely be a part of.
I agree.
Yep.
if they're also issuing states of emergency. And we need to also come up with the actual process of how we agree to a state of emergency. Is it one of us sees like shit's hitting the fan and you do it and we all be like, hey guys, by the way, I did this shit? Or is it something we make each other aware in our, communication channels and we thumbs up until we have enough votes? Like, we got to figure that one out.
I would not be opposed to that key existing in each member of the legislative bodies for up to, let's say, 2 hours, after which it must be co-signed or downgraded. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that allows some fluidity, accountability, and for the long term, as people wake up or react, right, they can add to it. I also simultaneously like a DEFCON level over what our current state of emergency, I think, colloquially in San Andreas we're probably thinking it's like World War III type shit, even though...
Well, that's just what we're used to.
Absolutely. But having like a DEFCON or something along those lines with levels, like I hate to use the example, but remember we had threat level green, yellow, orange, red, or whatever. Isn't the worst idea, because it at least, I think it was used in the US to make it known that, hey, it's green right now because these areas are off limits. It's yellow because
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, it really, I think, paints the picture to the everyday person how bad it is. Red would be you got faceless with planes, right?
Yeah.
But yellow might be, hey, there's an active plague. Green might be we're precaution.
It's a storm. It's a weather. We're preventative. Okay. Dark, is that something you're willing to entertain drafting?
Yeah, I'll work with Craig and then we'll touch base with the mayor's office, both of them, about getting that sorted.
That's fantastic. Circling back, what are we telling the public? I know we keep touching on this and then we lose track. What are we actually telling them?
Besides the stimulus checks?
Besides the stimulus checks. We're saying there is a plague. Is that what we're officially calling it and addressing it as?
I do not like the word plague.
I don't either.
Me neither.
I'd say
this is what we keep calling
it.
Outbreak.
Okay.
Even outbreak is bad.
Guys, that's gonna trauma dump so many people. Can we figure a better term or
what was something like I noticed increase in individuals getting sick?
Cooties.
Pathogen. I'll fucking take cooties. I really will. I think a pathogen.
I don't like any single word is good.
It's gonna be the thing that it's unfortunate, but similar to what happened. Oh God, how long ago was it? Like 7 years ago, where the word pandemic just kind of got, what's it called? Empowered. It's going to happen with this. So we have to kind of commit to something.
Well, we've noticed that an increased uptake in individuals getting sick with these symptoms, and then do the rest of the
what if we call it
like a health advisory, right? It's like, hey, we're aware that these things are happening, and we don't use any embellished words that might infer a greater threat than might exist. Right?
Okay. I'm for that. As long so recognizing an uptick in sick individuals with these symptoms. If you are seeing these symptoms, you should immediately go to the hospital. Would it be
the Blaine virus?
What now? Would it be outlandish?
Because then it's funny, and then Oh, sorry. Continue.
Just for you, Nino. Would it be outlandish to say that they should only seek medical treatment from the hospital in Los Santos, from CMC?
What's wrong with that?
The beaver.
If this guy's parading around as a doctor.
Or maybe not just CMC, because if we have to expand, maybe just say authorized medical personnel or something like that.
Okay. Part of the medical group, the San Andreas medical group.
Yeah. Because I know there's people like Margot Escargot who's chopping people's arms off, so we don't need unauthorized doctors doing unauthorized things.
Yeah.
Do you guys have badges or any way to verify yourselves?
I'm literally wearing one right now.
Are you? Oh, look at that.
Could anyone put that on, or is that?
I do not believe anyone can wear it. From what I know.
Is there anything else that people feel like needs to be addressed? What the? Why are you playing?
I'm just looking at the badge.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else that people feel like in like a state announcement form or just a public alert form that needs to be addressed aside from you're having X, Y, and Z symptoms, go to the hospital and only seek out medical from authorized medical personnel from Los Santos or San Andreas Medical Group? Are we good with that front?
I think for the time being, and then
the hotline, I guess.
The hotline would be good. I guess the open question is, are we temporarily quarantining any areas, or is that too early? Perhaps that awaits this legislation that we might want to push, even if we get like a light version of this out sooner than later, would open up that door, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because I'm still not sure. Is it coming from the Lighthouse or is it coming from the sewers? Because I've been hearing it's definitely the sewers.
In terms of, I don't think we're looking at locations here. I think we're looking at a person. I think the suspect right now is Dr. Isaac when it comes to the plague. So I think originally, we had a lot of dead vermin and that kind of thing happening up at the Lighthouse, but I confirmed that he's been using their lab down in the sewers too, so that's why we've had activity there. So I think it's following wherever he is. I mean, just to give an example, we moved Dr. Keeger up to Sandy today.
I'm really glad that we made a lot of forward movement,
beat up tornado
on these things,
like a really old school 60s type car.
Yeah,
and it's a bit on the nose, but his car had the plate, and the plate read plague, black on yellow.
Charming.
Or yellow on black. So
it also isn't confirmed to a place because I was in the lab at Sandy.
All right. Yeah. So the answer to the question is then quarantining is not going to do much.
Yep.
Okay.
CMC is very scary to me to be the location of like where to.
What about a
them.
Lockdown?
Do we? Well, so here's the issue, though. I mean, a lockdown for what reason? Like locking down the hospital?
Well, if they're going out to talk to this guy and he's the only one doing it, if they just stay in their homes, it should be all right. Yeah.
Surely.
We'll just stay in
my issue is, where do we tell people if you're having these symptoms, go ahead and head to Zancudo? I feel like that's gonna.
I think we need to save Zancudo for a proper.
That's what I'm saying, and I feel like we need to prepare the hospital to have a quarantine zone area, like maybe the ICU wing.
So many people go ICU though.
Yeah.
Or what about the upstairs, the therapy offices?
That's a good idea.
There's still people who wander in and out of there.
Man.
Well, we will start acting as in preventative measures. We will tell people they will not be operating out of those upstairs offices, and we will start prepping them for individuals who are having these symptoms. We have to utilize the spaces and facilities we have.
Why not Sandy Medical? What's the issue with Sandy?
Because you put patients.
We don't have any doctors there. Also,
yeah, but he's in quarantine now because he's sick.
I like where Doc's going with this, only because it's generally not somewhere people just eavesdrop and fuck around in, right?
There's also no foot traffic from the public up there, other than
it's also close to
the
PD.
BCSO is right next door.
That's not a bad thing, though.
The BCSO can keep an eye on people who might try and go in and out.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
so we tell them to use the building.
They're going to have issues with you shutting down their building because they can't process people.
But it's separate buildings, no?
They're separate buildings.
They can go in their own. The BCSO is separate to Sandy. Yes, they're conjoined, but they're two separate buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was shut down today because of patient 0, right? Being housed in the hospital. Yeah.
They were informed not to. It might not be safe, but no one told them that they can't go. They said, did you tell Ventura it might not be a good idea right now to have groups of people so close to something that we hope is contained, but might not be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a warning versus I didn't tell anybody that the building's closed.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Well, the front doors were barred up, is all I'm saying, right? So maybe communicate that to the BCSO.
Yeah, we'll change that kind of conversation.
Even if, let's say, that became like a worst case scenario, right? That's a small risk versus, you know, the city's main hospital where everybody goes.
Yeah.
There's also Polito.
Keep functional.
But it didn't. I'm sorry, Perry. Didn't you say that's not operational? There's like, is it open?
Yeah. From what I know, it's not operational.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure those doors are locked.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which? Oh no, I meant Polito Sheriff's office. If BCSO could operate out of there.
Oh, well, they can't process though. This is the biggest issue.
No.
Their evidence lockers, I guess, aren't there, but I guess they could do every other kind of aspect of the job, and I guess the evidence could just go back to MRPD. They will hate that though.
I don't think local DOC will come grab the people's possessions up though.
I wouldn't. Oh fuck, I wouldn't know.
Because I know that someone tried to process in the Marshal's office and like, well, we need to take you to MLPD.
If it's
because it was
no, that's because Marshals can't seize possessions.
Yeah.
But they could do it at MLPD.
They probably had an officer do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
From my interpretation, is that officers can technically process anywhere, but they should be within a precinct. I don't know. I think Sandy is definitely the best option, and I'm gonna be honest. And Mumbles, if you're not comfortable with this, obviously please let us know. But having a law enforcement close,
I think it makes sense.
A facility like this is only a benefit.
Okay, just make sure to loop in Aspen on these reasons because want to make sure that they're happy with this outcome as well.
Okay. Is everyone feeling good on that front of what we're telling the public and the process we're going to be moving forward with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think one thing we should, I don't know who's best to do the reaching out, but if we can reach out to somebody about getting the doctor's locks on the doors up there, because there is no locks on Sandy Medical.
I'll reach out to the construction teams and see what I can do.
Great. Especially if it's going to be used.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else we need to discuss that's pressing?
I do want to kind of get like a reaffirmation, or not so much of an affirmation, but are you the head of some? Like, are you not the top of the top, or like, are you getting conflicting information from folks? Because
from the way it's written in the legislation, I work side by side with the heads of the departments.
But it says you're the oversight, so so
basically the legislative authority side of things. So I can write the legislation and stuff. From what I understand, that is how I've been told. I'm not higher than anyone in, like, I'm not
currently active medical will be publicly over
per se.
I think, and I might be, and I'm going to go on a limb here. I have a feeling that there may be members of medical staff that may have gaslit you out of the authority that the Constitution provides you. As the sentence reads, one currently active medical professional will be publicly elected to oversee the operations of the medical authority, representing the interests of all medical factions and working alongside their respective high command. I genuinely believe that, because when I think of like the spirit of the Constitution and like our government functioning, it would seem rather odd that there's like shadow elements in the, medical that get to dictate on their own accord how things should operate. And I say this more to say, I believe that you're elevated to that status. And while you may need to work with them, ultimately, it seems like you're the decision maker. Otherwise, how would our state even function if it's like unwritten? You know what I mean? So it may be worth getting that clarity. And I only say this given the danger that's in front of us, right? Is that if we have to make these decisions, but we have to get sign-offs by unknown entities, that'd be rather strange.
I can see where you're coming from. I'm definitely going to try and do that as well.
Okay. Is that
I think so too.
Are we coming to a bit of a wrap up here?
Yep, I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And we each kind of have our own task. Same time next week, unless we have to call an emergency meeting.
Yep. Sounds good. Yep.
All right.
Sure. All right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys. And Perry, please feel better.
I'll try.
Yep. Feel better, Perry.
I'm not contagious.
Yeah, is that true? Because I heard it's like not contagious anymore. Is that not the case? Like it becomes and then it doesn't?
So from what we've seen from everyone, it's not contagious.
Okay.
Hey, meeting a germ. Am I right?
Oh, shit.
You're an asshole. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the dive. It's coming.
I hate to put you in this position where you got to like figure that out, but you know, like I said, I wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't like someone self-declaring authority over the hospital as EMS. It's just like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, the fact that she did that,
yeah,
that rubs me the wrong
very
way.
interesting.
I would speak with Maxwell, who relayed this to me. She was very much getting stressed out over everything.
Yeah.
And you take what I said as telephone until you hear from the direct parties.
Until I hear it properly.
Yeah.
No, but I'm definitely going to look into that and try and see if I can get more clarification on it. Because, yeah, I'm getting mixed signals from everything.
Yeah. I tend to find that when there is citywide things happening, everybody wants to be the person at the top.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm gladly not someone who really believes in superstitions, so thank fucking God.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. Not to say that you're not sick, you know what I mean? I mean all the other stuff around
no,
it.
I know. I know.
That's right, Nino. Just reverse gaslight her into believing that she's not sick.
Well, no, I'm sure she's sick, but like, you know, is it a flu? Like, I don't, like the one... Like what are the symptoms? Like is it?
Because you were fine yesterday. That's where my confusion lies.
It's chest pains. My lungs hurt, and
And this sounds like the flu to me.
I was also coughing up blood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's actually right. Could you put together a list of symptoms for us to tell the public if they have them, they should go to Sandy?
Yep, I'm gonna make a massive document for it all, so it's all listed in there.
And then we should probably tell them like to 311 or something that when they arrive at the hospital.
And then PD would have to relay it to us.
Relay it to the office. I mean, to the doctors. Yeah, because there's no other real way for citizens.
Oh my God, it is syphilis.
Yeah, we are not able to see.
Oh Lord.
Okay, so yeah, that'll have to be a 311. And we'll have to tell individual. Nino, can you make sure LSPD knows that they'll have to relay that information?
Sorry, which bit?
You can ask.
For 311s, that when they see the 311s, they'll have to notify the doctors.
Hey, Raz.
After the notice goes out?
You know.
Yeah, after the notice goes out, we'll let the public know that they'll have to 311 when they arrive at Sandy, and that officers will have to relay that information to the medical staff.
Absolutely. I'll have a chat with Turner right after this.
Okay, perfect. I'll let
I'm gonna wait
when I go and have the conversation.
Absolutely. I'm gonna wait till the note is prepared, just so.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, I can point at that as context.
We'll put it in the channel for all of us to approve on before we send anything out.
Okay. All right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I think today was very productive.
I very much agree.
So,
glad everything worked out.
Absolutely.
Plenty to do. I'm going to go talk to some justices. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hell yeah. Easy. Hell yeah. All right.
All right. Well.
All right.
My phone's on if anyone needs anything.
Y'all stay safe.